This is Point of View, celebrating a world record-breaking 62 years of quality public affairs programs from the studios of WDEF News 12, Chattanooga.
Whitewater rafting is what's in store today for our Point of View travel series adventure. We want to thank Woody and Trey here from Wildwater for hosting us today. And Trey, this is the second time we get to have an adventure with you. Thank you for having us again.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here.
So how many segments of river do we have in this area?
So we raft 7 sections of river in 4 different states: North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, and Tennessee.
Woody, I hear that this was one of the spots for the Olympics of '96.
That is correct. There's 2 sections of the Ocoee, the upper and the middle. Today we'll be rafting on the middle, but on the upper they took a world-class river and made it even better. And it's just a fun place. It's one of my favorite places to raft.
Well, I'm definitely not an Olympian, but I am very excited about today's adventure.
You and me ought to be. We all need, we all bleed. Everyone, young or old. Blue or gray, hot or cold. Got the same sunshine. Got the same sunshine. Got the same sunshine. We all got the same sunshine. We all need, we all bleed. We all got the same sunshine. Everyone, young or old. We all got the same sunshine.
Well, I will tell you that one of the most fascinating things about this course is that we do have whitewater rafting, but there's also times like this one where we just get to look around and enjoy the scenery. It's a beautiful day, it's sunny outside, it's clear skies. I even went for a little swim. Ready?
Is it deep enough to jump?
Oh yeah.
yard. So essentially we have hell hole and right below powerhouse ledge, and then we'll float on into the takeout. So one more big finish coming up.
The big finish, the big finale. Well, I survived another great adventure here at the Ocoee. It is definitely worth coming out and doing some whitewater rafting. They have treated us so well. It's been a beautiful day. Make sure you stay tuned for the next great adventure on our adventure series here on Point of View.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
News 12 Now, keeping you ahead of the weather with Storm Team 12 forecasts. On air, online, and right to your Facebook page. Anytime, anywhere, rain or shine. Join us for Point of View, weekends on News 12 Now and Bounce Chattanooga.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
Don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
I hope that you have enjoyed the Whitewater Rafting Adventure Series. With me for this segment is Nicole Rios. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you for having me.
You have created this docuseries called First Generational. Please tell me what it is.
Well, right now we're in the pre-production phase of this docuseries, but we project for it to be a docuseries that follows the experience of a first-generation American, myself, as she goes to the country where her family's from, her heritage, and she kind of gets in touch with her roots. But ultimately it is a travel show with a purpose, so it's got that edge to it.
Well, the truth is that you actually flew here last night from Miami. You
Yeah.
live in Miami, you work in Miami, and your heritage is part Cuban. So what brings you to Chattanooga?
Well, I was actually born in Chattanooga, and I was raised here until I was 8. So, and then after that we moved to Atlanta and then to Miami, where I've been for the last 10 years. So this is my hometown, you know, and I would love to explore it now as an adult. I think that it has a place in the docuseries as well.
So does docuseries, does it start here?
It does, it does. Well, actually, the first episode will start in Miami because that's where I am right now, but then we're going to come up to Chattanooga because this is where my grandfather, who's Cuban, this was his final resting spot, and that's the reason why I was born here. So his story ends here, but mine begins here. So I'm going to be coming back here and having interviews with the people that knew him.
And what brought your grandfather to Chattanooga, and how long ago?
Well, he came, it wasn't initially the revolution. He had moved to Venezuela after, in the early 60s, but he came here because my aunt is here, from his daughter from the first marriage. So he was reconnecting, because that's the story of many Cubans. They left family behind because of, you know, issues with the country. So he was reconnecting with his family here. And
So he comes here, he works here, he unfortunately passes away here, but in the midst of all that, you were born here.
I was, yeah.
And so what brings you to make this documentary?
Well, I have experience in TV. I've done production since high school, and after high school I went and I worked for Channel 2, the PBS affiliate in Miami. And I just really love the idea of telling human interest stories, and you know, it happens to be mine right now because it's the one that I know the best. But I really fell in love with the medium of television and film and moving pictures. And then after working in TV, I kind of did a segue, and I literally was working with Segways as a tour guide. I was giving tours in Miami on Segways, and just as a fun adventure. And these two worlds collided with this project because I was giving tours of Little Havana and constantly talking about my grandfather, you know, that I'm actually Cuban, as many of the other people in Miami are Cuban, first generation, second generation. But I was talking about it daily, and I didn't really have much to go off of because I've never been to Cuba, and I don't really know much more than what Wikipedia tells me or the different texts that I was reading. So I had such a desire to like go and see the country myself.
Did you feel like you were missing a part of your life, or there was a hole of information?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I think growing up in America, I mean, we are so multicultural, this nation, but, and even though I am American and I identify so much, my identity is American, my upbringing, my two parents are from another country, you know, and I speak a language with them that's not English, and I feel very much divided in that sense. And so I always had that yearning to know more about, you know, my cultural background. And, you know, I've had the opportunity to go to Venezuela, where my parents are from, but I've never gone to Cuba, and now I have the chance to. So,
what do you consider to be a first generational?
A first generation American is the child that was born in America whose parents are from elsewhere, from another country.
What is it for you, though?
For me, it's a territory of its own. You know, it's an identity of its own, and I don't think there's enough voices out there that represent us because there's so many of us. I mean, this is really a nation full of people from all backgrounds, and you know, we're probably blazing a trail all our own, first-generation Americans.
So when people ask you what nationality are you, what do you say?
That's a loaded question.
That is a loaded question.
Well, I say I'm American, but my parents are from Venezuela. I'm Cuban. I'm Spanish. I'm all sorts of things. But I'm Nicole.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now we're able to go to Cuba freely.
Yeah.
Are you excited about that?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big driving force in this whole project.
And what is your mission when you get to Cuba?
To respectfully learn more about it and to see where I fit in, maybe find a place there, because it is kind of hard when your own identity is comprised of so many backgrounds to maybe find a place to fit in. And growing up has taken me a while to really come into my own and figure that out about myself. And I'm still not completely there. You know, I'm 24 and I'm still searching. But I think that this is going to be a really great step for me in that journey. And I think that, you know, that maybe a lot of people would identify with that.
You know, there's so many people that are first generationals here in the U.S., from all over the world, of course. And what do you hope to engage with them about?
That same sense of yearning and kind of wonder about not just your own culture and heritage, but of just the whole world. I think with such an access of information that we do have now, that everybody's pretty much tuned into the internet, you know, you have a window to the world, there is that sense of wonder and just like seeing what's beyond what you're currently living in and like uniting everybody. More understanding brings more unity. So, you know, you got to fight, let's say, ignorance and stuff with more knowledge and more awareness of your surroundings and what you can't immediately see in front of you, but you can travel to with maybe not necessarily a passport, you can do with the internet. So I'm hoping to bring that, you know, in video form to people, so more knowledge about.
So you said that you want to start with your story.
Yes.
What do you want to continue with?
Well, I mean, if all goes well and this is a success, I hope that it's the first installment in a series where, you know, other first-generation Americans get a chance to go and explore the country that their parents are from or their grandparents are from, and get to see, you know, those countries that they don't know of only from stories firsthand, and see, you know, where they identify within those countries and backgrounds. So.
Yeah, I was once asked where I was from, and I said I'm 100% American and I'm 100% Puerto Rican. Do you feel that about Venezuela and Colombia?
Yeah, I do really feel that. Because
in Cuba, because you have a mixture.
Yeah, it's a mixture, but I definitely, I mean, you know, I think being American is a very broad term, you know, because there's so many cultures here. Being American is kind of like a mishmash of a lot of things, and you can be very patriotic to your country that you were born in here, and also feel tied to those that you're from, your parents are from. So I totally get that. Like, I feel very much both.
So when will we be able to see this docuseries?
Well, right now, like I said, we're in the pre-production phase, so we're still kind of going out there and seeing how we can make it happen, because you gotta find the people and everything. So we do have a crew. But it does require money, of course, so we're going to be launching the Kickstarter Friday. And so with that, you know, crowdfunding, it's on the goodwill of the people, and if they believe in the idea, then, you know, it's great for us, because...
Thank you so much for your time, and we hope to see more of this docuseries. Stay tuned for our next segment, where we have Tennessee Senator candidate Christy Wilkinson. Thank you for staying tuned. With me is Maurice Lewis. Maurice, it's always good to work with you.
Absolutely.
How are you doing today?
Terrific. I'm always terrific.
And please, who is our guest?
Christy Wilkinson, candidate for the 10th Senatorial District here in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
That's right.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Why on earth are you crazy enough to want that job?
Well, I think there's a lot of really hard work that needs to be done in the state capitol to improve the lives of the people of Tennessee. So,
Well, the other question, what are you running for, or are you running against something?
I'm running for change. I'm running to make a difference, to improve the lives of the citizens of the 10th District, which is made up of Hamilton County and Bradley County. So,
But as a Democrat, you're facing an uphill battle.
Indeed.
What makes you think that you can get something done in a Republican-controlled Senate?
I think that I have I think I'm really good at collaborating with people, and I think that my personality is such that if you have a conversation with me and you realize that what I'm looking to do makes a lot of sense, you can't really argue with logic and reason.
And what are the issues that you're most passionate about?
Well, the conversations that I've had around the district, a lot of people talk about wanting a safer community. And so I think safety, public safety, is a very big issue for people. And some of the things that I think that the state legislature can do to improve the safety of communities is educate students very well, make sure that people have access to decent paying jobs that give them dignity, and empowering citizens to participate in society.
For the candidate that's already in this position, what are the major shortcomings that you see that you can fix?
Well, I think the most tragic thing that has happened is the failure of Insure Tennessee, which was a bill that was sponsored or actually proposed by Governor Haslam. It has overwhelming support in the state of Tennessee, and a very small committee of people, including the legislator that I'm running against, Senator Gardenhire, made it so that that bill couldn't go to the floor for a vote. So it died in committee, and the rest of the senators and representatives never had a chance to vote on it, which I think is an obstruction of democracy, and I think it's been very tragic for the people of Tennessee. 280,000 people are in the healthcare gap. Families are going bankrupt. People are suffering from terrible illnesses with no medical coverage to treat them. We're talking cancer. You know, I mean, very, very sad things have happened.
We are coming off a week or a weekend of lots of gang activity and lots of violence. How do you see the situation bettering?
I think we have.
I don't blame you for that sigh because
Yeah.
it is such an enormous issue.
It's
really
a huge
is.
issue.
Right.
It really is. And like I said, I think safety is a very important thing in Chattanooga and across the country. I think that the solution is not going to be easy to find. I think we need to take a holistic approach to improving the lives of people, whether that's through education, mental health care, gun control. You know, I think it's going to take a combination.
But what
of
about
things.
block to box? Because a lot of these young people that are out here, they want to get a job, but they already have a record, and then the employer takes a look at that application and says, oh, you've got a record, I'm not even going to consider
Yes.
you. How do you deal with that?
Ban the Box initiative is something that I very strongly support, and I know that there are legislators already laying the groundwork for this kind of initiative. I think it's crucial that formerly incarcerated individuals have an opportunity to live a life of dignity after they've paid their debt to society, so that they don't end up having to fall back into those horrible patterns that they were trapped in before they did their time, so to speak.
How do you feel about minors in that category?
I mean, reducing juvenile contact with the criminal justice system is imperative to building a safer society. I think that, you know, we hear this phrase, school to prison pipeline. I think that education is really at the root of making sure that students, young people, aren't constantly getting into trouble over and over and over again. And I also think that, you know, like the YFD centers here in Chattanooga that provide opportunities for kids, you know, those programs and facilities have to be well funded.
One of the things that we don't hear very often, we hear about military veterans coming back with PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. A lot of our young people in inner cities across the United States are suffering from PTSD because of the number of people that have been shot, killed, or wounded in their communities. As a state senator, if you're successful, where would this be on your list of priorities to get this type of mental health recognition going?
At the very top. I personally grew up in poverty and in a violent neighborhood. And so, you know, PTSD is something that's very personal to me. And I know from experience that it takes a very supportive community. It takes access to health care.
And money.
It takes money to pay for prescriptions and therapists and medical practitioners and whatever it takes to heal the body, the soul, the brain from traumatic experience. So I think that's a major area of healthcare that needs to be expanded.
Are Democrats more in favor of these type of healthcare expenditures than Republicans? I know this is a loaded question.
This is definitely a loaded question. I would say that there are some trends that maybe it's not necessarily a Democrat or a Republican thing, but more of a progressive kind of idea. And you can have progressives on both sides of the aisle.
What a marvelous concept.
You know, have you gotten any pushback for being a newcomer to the Chattanooga area? You fairly recent move to the...
Yeah, I've only lived in Chattanooga since 2009. My husband and I moved down here from Detroit. But our kids were born here, and this is home for us. I can't imagine living anywhere else. So I feel like a Chattanooga girl.
Just briefly, what are the 3 most important things that you will push for in your campaign?
I really think Ban the Box is at the top. Education and making sure that something like Insure Tennessee, expanding mental health care and expanding access to health care in
Well,
general.
Nyara, as you have mentioned previously, it's the first time we're announcing it on the air. We do plan to have a lot of candidates on as we go, and I think the invitation goes out now.
Absolutely. The invitation to all the political candidates is out there to come on Point of View and speak to us about what you stand for and how we can make our area better than what it already is. Please stay tuned to our week next week, and we do have a very exciting week with Maurice next week. And so
What am I doing?
you'll just have to tune in and see.
And by the way, the invitation to the candidates is out there. We may not call you, but you know, you can get in contact with us. We're right here at Channel 12, and we're very easy to reach.
Yes. This is Point of View with Nyada Cancel and Maurice Lewis. Thank you so much and have a great week.
Closed captioning provided by the following.
Funding for this program is brought to you by Barnett & Company, specializing in tax-efficient strategies for the preservation and distribution of family wealth, offering continuous investment management with a focus on long-term strategies. Areas of service include investment, estate, education, and retirement planning. Barnett & Company, the power of compound returns over time. More information can be found on the web at barnettandcompany.com.